And we're back, baby. Let's frickin' go. Welcome back to Philip Buster. This ain't Buster Queefton, the famous prop comedian. This is Philip Buster, the famous video game reviewer. And today I'd like to welcome you to our first episode of a brand new show we're starting called Spitgate. Spitgate Operation Files. And this is where I'm going to be playing a little bit of my new favorite game, Spitgate, made by Microsoft, the famous Bill Gates. And we don't know if he went to the island or not. A lot of the themes in this game seem to be islands and violence, so the jury's still out on that. But what the jury's not out on is the existence of large and unknown organisms in the Earth's oceans. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're not talking about giant squids, the kind of squids you might see in the Sonic game. We're talking about something much more unnerving, and for the conspiracy theorists out there, this one's for you. This kind of what this show's gonna be. It's like a new conspiracy show where we delve into it's kind of like X-Files, or you could call it the Z-Files, but we're calling it Enter the Spitgate, Operational Operations. And today, like I said, we're talking about something big, large, and in charge, something that's running the ocean underneath the waves and causing a lot of waves in the media. People are saying, well, I haven't heard about it. Well, let me tell you, that's because your ears are down to the ground and your eyes are closed like a sleeping baby. You haven't been paying attention if you haven't heard that Leviathan, the great sea-serpent, is waking up. He is coming to life. They created a fake snowstorm in the southeast, trying to cover it up, but I saw on a Facebook post that Leviathan has woken up off the coast of Virginia, so I'm kind of gonna dive a little bit into that today, and let's go ahead and get started with Spitgate. Enter the Operation Files. So one of the earliest written texts about this big old sea snake is in the book of Job. He's a Hebrew fella. He brews not beer, but gospels and spiritual teachings and tales of long things that are tales in themselves. Big snakes are just, turned out, they're just kind of lizard tales in a sense. And in that book, he's described as a big old nasty sea monster who, quote, when he raises himself up, the mighty are afraid. So it sounds like some of that stuff you should be worried about, that should be talking about on the news, but for some reason they're not. And the Norse talked about him too. Norse or Vikings. If you played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or Black Flag, you're familiar with criminals who ride on ships, and that's what they call Viking. Norse are what they also call Vikings, are what was the original term is Norse. And so they talk about Jormungandr, and he encircles the earth. He's a big old snake who circles around the earth. So pretty much the same book, or same bug, sea bug, same sea snake. And the Polynesians, the Micronesians, they all got stories about them too. They all got their own books of the world fish. And in all these ancient books, there's a couple consistencies. They say that he's old, that he's ancient, that he's been around forever. That he's sleeping, he's dormant, they say. And that's derived from the word doormat, which means it's just kind of laying there. It's just kind of laying low, keeping a low profile. And they all kind of agree that he, whenever he wakes up, it's going to be trouble for everybody. And then in the modern days, in more modern times, we got some more observations coming out of the 17th and 18th centuries. These are from maritime logs. Maritime means like, Mary is short for ocean, so it's ocean time. They're on ocean time. It's not Pacific, it's not Atlantic, it's not Eastern Standard, it's ocean time. It's maritime. And so these could have been written at any part of the day, but they were written at sea, and so it would always start with an account of like the unusual stillness, which the ocean's always moving, always loud, always making a ruckus, but they come across patches that are just like still as could be, like little sleeping babies. And then their navigation systems would go wonky. Navigation is a funky word for compass, I learned in my research on this, and they say there would be sudden temperature changes, almost like if you walked into a cooler from a hot summer day, and you'd be like, whew, why did it get so cold? Now, how's it so cold in here when I was just so hot out there? it would be kind of like that. It's like if they sailed their big ship into a big old walk-in cooler or something. And these, it's almost like the Bermuda Triangle. Some of you might have heard about that. Just a weird happening in the sea. And, a lot of these, were, not so much snake-related, but I thought it was interesting that some weird stuff can happen at sea. Speaking of weird stuff, if you've heard of Krakatoa, it's, a Polynesian word for volcano. In 1883, multiple observers recorded that, so the ocean was acting weird right after Krakatoa happened, and no one can really explain that, so that's something we've yet to get to the bottom of, but maybe we are getting to the bottom of it as something from the bottom of the ocean is getting to the top of us, as in, I'm talking about the, Leviathan is waking up, is pretty much what I'm saying there. So now we're gonna move on a little from modern times. You notice we started in ancient history, then we moved up to mid-history, medieval times you could call them. Now we're getting to modern evil times, and that's what I'd like to describe the state of the world today. Honestly, I mean, there's some good going on, but I would not blame anybody, let alone me, for considering it, the current ages to be the modern evil times. So we're talking about World War II, kind of modern, not quite as modern as modern warfare, but it is warfare, and it was less than 100 years ago, definitely less than 200 years ago. And so they declassified some materials from the United States Navy, that is our boat department, the Norse of the Americans. It's probably why they called it the Navy, because it starts with N, like Norse does. They said there was a rare but recurring non-reflective acoustic sounds, which no one really knows what that means. It's a little bit of government jargon, but what they're getting at here is they're saying sonar signals were scattered, reflected, and that it appeared that sounds entered the area and then dissipated, and something called a bathymetric variance, which sounds to me bathymetric has the word bath in it, so I'm thinking, okay, big old body of water, something soaking in water, something like a snake, something like a sea serpent. So that's something to think about, something to raise your eyebrow out. Like even in World War II, they were talking about this Leviathan thing. And then in the 70s through the 90s, there were 6 anonymous submissions made to academic journals. Those are like People Magazine, Reader's Digest kind of things. But these ones were about oceanography and geophysics, which is space physics. And ocean geography is just geography of the ocean. Let's see, and so here's what those claims were saying. They repeated a detection of a structure exceeding 300 kilometers, which is just European for miles, 300 kilometers in length. This is under the ocean. Sounds like, more than a tall building. Sounds like could be a snake. And then, and then up into even, as recent as, this big snowstorm that happened, people were saying, well, I got a Google image picture that shows a big old serpent waking up off the coast of Virginia, so that's something to raise an eyebrow, something to be concerned about, something to possibly get right with God, whether it be the Hebrew God, the Norse God, or Polynesian, whatever your sauce is, just be on the lookout for big snakes, and I hope you take away something valuable from this video, and I hope it's information, and I hope it's knowledge, and I hope we can all be not afraid to spread what we know is true and what the government's not trying to tell us. So, thank you. I'm Philip Buster. This has been Spitgate. Enter the portal of information. Thank you. Bye.